We have wonderful staff. I've had a chance to meet some of the staff during our symposium and had an opportunity to really learn a lot from them. So I've learned a lot and met a lot of very interesting people in the community.
Hey, what are you doing especially to kind of learn about the makeup of this Charleston County School District? I mean, it's large, it's a lot of different demographics, a lot of different type students. What are you doing to learn about this community?
I've been engaging with a lot of people, different constituency groups, different organizations, trying to make sure I hear and listen to what their concerns may be and learn as much as I possibly can.
What kind of have you learned? What have those concerns been that maybe have been brought to your attention?
The concerns have varied, and so I've heard things to like the highlights of the districts and some of the things that we do really well, to some of the ongoing concerns around equity, and so I've heard those messages many times.
Have you, so you said a lot of concerns about equity. What, do you have any plan on what maybe you want to do to address that so far?
I want to continue to work with the team to figure out where the gaps may be and how we can effectively address them.
So still kind of learning where those equity gaps might be.
Yes.
What do you kind of hope to do to maybe address that?
Well, we want to assess whether or not it's a perception or is it real. And so once we determine that, we'll work with the team to come up with a plan for how we're going to address it, whether it be an achievement gap or a facilities gap or whatever.
So still kind of learning a little bit more.
Yes, a lot of learning.
A lot of learning.
Yes.
What are your days kind of filled with now to do that?
A lot of meeting with different constituencies and stakeholder groups, meeting with some staff members, and spending a lot of time analyzing the organization and the effectiveness of the organization.
I guess, speaking of the organization, I know that there was some disagreement on the organization chart. I know you had a couple of school, a chief of education, a couple of different positions that you wanted to bring forward that the school board ultimately denied. Where is your process now in building that organization chart?
Well, one of the things I'm looking forward is our retreat this weekend, where me and the board in the executive session will go over some of the plans for how we're going to address the organization chart. So I'm working with the chiefs right now to review every department and figure out how things are aligned first, and whether the alignment supports the schools and the school improvement plans.
After your public displeasure when they voted against those two positions, what is your relationship like with the board right now?
Well, it's a work in progress. And so one of the things I've learned is that I came from a community where I had 10 years of credibility with the board, and I had to realize that I had to build that relationship with our board and for them to get to know me and me to get to know them. So we've gone through that process. I've had one-on-one meetings with board members to better understand who they are and let them understand who I am. And I'm looking forward to our retreat this week.
And I just have a question going back to those two positions that you wanted to add. I guess, why do you feel you needed to add these high administrative positions? I know that there's been a lot of concern that there are a lot of administrative positions that have overlap, and kind of why did you feel the need to add more?
So those two specific positions are actually vacant positions. They exist in the organization and are needed right now to support schools. So I was just trying to fill the vacancies.
Hadn't they been left vacant for a while now? So I think that they were even cut from the budget.
One of them was, yes.
So bringing those positions back would have expended more money that wasn't originally allocated to those administrative positions.
Well, we weren't spending more money. We actually had some of those monies in the budget. It was just looking at how could we repurpose that money, because having those positions would help us support schools better.
Okay, what would you say to those who maybe say that money should be going towards teachers?
I don't disagree, but I would honestly say that we actually have to support our schools in an effective way.
And do you think by adding more administrative positions we can do that?
I think that's just one. Those two positions are vacant, and those positions, for one, as an example, the executive director of elementary is that position. We have over 40 elementary schools. In order to do best practices in supporting those schools, you actually need to focus on trying to lower the caseload for each one of those executive directors.
Because there are already 2 or 3, correct?
There's 2.
There's 2, so you wanted to add a 3rd.
I wanted to make sure that we had enough support for our schools.
Okay. Do you agree with the management structure of the district?
I think there's some review that needs to occur, but in my experiences, there's just some obvious things that you have to have. You can't open up a school without a principal, for instance. And so there's just some obvious things that need to happen. And in an organization of this magnitude, you have to have enough support in order to effectively assist the schools with their needs.
So you mentioned the schools lacking principals. Anything else that?
I didn't say they're lacking principals. I use that as an example.
As an example.
And
Okay.
you can't open a school without a principal. That's an obvious need.
Mm-hmm.
And so those positions that I just mentioned are obvious needs for our schools. We need to be able to support our principals and our teachers.
Do you think you and the board have the same vision?
I think we do. I just think we need to better get to know each other, and we will this weekend.
So it's a retreat, correct?
It's a retreat, yes.
And then tell me a little bit about that, what your expectations are with this retreat.
So the retreat is just an opportunity for us to reestablish our relationship and to go over some of the roles and responsibilities of the board and the superintendent, as well as establish norms moving forward.
I know that one position that kind of sort of changed was Don Kennedy. He was supposed to go back as chief administrative officer. You had a discussion with him, and he's now the chief innovation officer. Tell me how that transition has gone.
The transition has been well. We are both committed to making sure we do what's best for students, and we have no animosity with each other at all.
Okay. Even though he applied for your position,
That's fine, but one of the things I understand is that we both have the same goal in mind.
And what would that goal be?
Student achievement and making sure our students are successful.
Beautiful. I know. Why did you guys decide to change his title more or less from chief administrative to chief innovation officer?
A portion of the chief administration officer position is around research and looking at innovation. And so we wanted to better make the title fit what the real work would be. And so through mutual conversation and agreement, we decided that that's the best title for that particular work, because he wouldn't be over finance at this point.
Yes, I believe his contract had it laid out that he would go back to chief administrative officer, and then this new role, wasn't necessarily created, but a new title was created. I guess, to me, it looks like it almost clouded the waters a little bit. Would you disagree?
I would disagree. I think the chief administration officer is a vague title, and it could include a multitude of things. In order to make it clear, which is one of my goals for the organization chart, is to make everything clear, so when the community look at our organization chart, it makes sense.
But for the community looking outside in, they don't have a job description, a complete job description of a chief innovation officer. That seems a little unclear when it was pretty cut and dry in his contract.
Understood. So we're working through that right now.
I guess teachers got a boost in salary this year. How has that recruitment been since then?
I think it really boosts our recruitment efforts. We have a lot more engagement with people trying to apply to the district, and I'm happy to say that the team continues to work toward trying to get that $5,000 bonus through our ESSER funds.
How many vacancies do you have now?
Roughly about 93.
93. Where do you think teachers should be with salaries?
Well, it's my goal to pay the teachers what they're worth and make sure that we show that we value teachers. That is our main goal here. And I know through our compensation committee that they're really working diligently to try to figure out many ways of how we can reach that goal.
Do you have a set goal on what that might be?
They're still working through that right now.
So a team is working through trying to determine.
Yes.
What are you in contact with them to try to figure out how you guys can get to that goal or what that goal might be?
I had an opportunity to witness one of the meetings with the team, and they talked about all the various goals and pathways and strategies that they're using to try to get to that. And it's been an ongoing process, and they continue to work diligently to make sure the teachers understand that they have champions working for them.
I thought it was my understanding that there was a set amount that they wanted to reach and that this bonus was trying to get them towards that. Was that not the case?
Yes, that was the case, but can't tell you the exact dollar amount right now.
Okay. And I know another topic of discussion that has been throughout the community is North Charleston Mayor Summy has spoken about wanting to create his own school district to address some of the economic disparities and just the achievement gap. Have you met with Mayor Summy or any of those North Charleston community members to kind of discuss this?
I have met with Mayor Summy, not specifically about that topic. I am going to wrap back around with the community organizations and community leaders who are leading those efforts to have a really good discussion about where they're coming from and try to hear their concerns.
I guess what do you hope to do? What do you hope those conversations will?
That we can come up with a better solution to continue to work together.
So do you have any ideas of what that solution might include?
Not without understanding what their real concerns are.
Okay. They've spoken about like just the achievement gap, that their schools aren't getting enough attention. Have you heard those concerns as well?
No, not specifically.
Okay. When you met with Mayor Summy, what kind of concerns did he bring forward?
He talked about equity and the district providing North Charleston the type of support they need. And so we talked about some of the more surface level issues, and we committed to continue that conversation so that we can learn more and more about what those specific issues are.
Okay. As you're learning, are you coming up with plans on maybe what you can do to address these things?
Right now I'm listening and learning.
Okay. When do you expect to maybe have more of a plan on what to do to address those?
As I learn about, and then I have to go back to the team to figure out what are the historical issues and how can we address some of those.
So specifically those historical issues, trying to address those.
I'm committed to making sure we try to address any equity issues that may exist, but I don't know what those specific issues are without listening and learning from the community.
How has it been so far? How has your learning been so far?
I have learned and engaged with a lot of people, and so I'm hearing different perspectives, and so I'm really taking it all in and making sure I keep track of what I'm learning.
Talk me through some of the stuff you've learned.
Well, I'm going to be sharing out a 30-day more report on some of the things that I've been doing for the last 30 days or so. And so I can just say off the top of my head that they continue to focus on the 5 goals of the 100-day plan. And so I'm going to share some things that I've learned in the preliminary days around those 5 goals.
Can you expand on any of it now?
No. Tune in for the Community of the Whole meeting.
Okay. All right. I will. Is there anything else you think is really important for the community to know as you're coming forward as their new superintendent? I mean, you're new face to a lot of people. What do you think that they should know about you?
I'm excited to be here, and I'm committed to this community. I have made an investment in making sure that I am here long term. So I'm excited to get to know people and continue to get to know the community.
that you wanna stay here.
I've already purchased a home.
Okay. So you're ready to continue.
Yes.
Okay. I get. Are people? Is your door open? Can people meet you as they
Yes,
please?
I have an open door policy for certain.
All right. Any other questions next? All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.